Welcome guys to a new amazing video in which we will build a login and register UI in Jetpack Compose. And I will show you a technique of building UI that will help you a lot in the speed and also the quality of your, of course, user interfaces, which is called a design system. So we'll create a design system that our app will use when we build this UI. And this design system is creating a text field, for example, for our app, and simply we reuse that text field that we adjust it in the way we need, or creating a button and also we reuse that button in the way we need. So for example, do we want the button to be filled or outlined, enabled or not? So all of these things, we put them in our design system and then we just reuse them. Okay, so let's get started. So here is the UI that we'll be building. We have this image, the login text, and then two text fields, one for the email and one for the password. And it's a completely custom text field because this is not how it would normally look like. We have this leading icon that if we click on, we can do something. We have the text itself and the trailing icon. Of course, here as well, a leading icon. In this case, we don't have a trailing icon. In fact, we have a trailing text. We have the button that is the login button, login with other options like Google, Facebook, or Apple. And then if we don't have an account and we want to create an account, we can click on register to navigate to the other screen, which is the register screen. And here is the register screen. We have an image again, the text and the options now are at the top here. And then we have the text again, the text fields. We have a button. If we don't have, or if we already have an account, we can now go to the login screen. We can enter, of course, an email like this, and we can enter a username in here. We can enter a password, and as you can see, the password is hidden. And that's the same with the other one, which is login. Here's login, the same. We have an email, and here we have a password that we can hide. So let's get started. Now we can just go to our project right here to start with it. We don't need any dependencies to build this. And the first package I will create here, so that's a package. Let's call it design system like this. And then I will have a file inside it. Let's call it, for example, my text field. Of course, this would be my app name. So let's say my app is called Facebook. That's going to be Facebook text field, or so on. So this one is now my text field. That is going to be a file and a composable function, my text field like this. So what do we have in a text field? We have a bunch of things. Let's just pass them. We need a modifier, of course. We need a leading icon, which is the icon that is in the right, or let's say on the left of our text field. That is going to be an image vector like this. Okay, and it's nullable if we don't have it. So by default, it is null. We want to duplicate this for the trailing icon, or the icon in the right now. So trailing icon, and then we want to duplicate this again for now trailing text if we want to have a text inside of an icon, and that is just going to be a string. And then the state, text field state, of course the text field state is necessary because we have a text field. So text field state is going to be a text field state. We need to opt into this annotation or experiment to annotation right there. And then we need the lambda functions when we click on things. But before that, let's just pass our hint that will be displayed in the text field. The hint is before we type anything. So we say this is a password. Once we start typing, the password is just that little hint is invisible anymore. And then we have our keyboard type. So keyboard type of type keyboard type. And by default, it is going to be keyboard type dot text equal text like this. And then is password. So is this one a password or not? That is a boolean, by default false. And then two lambda functions. So on leading click, when we click on the leading icon, so it's like this. And then on trailing click, like this. So these are two lambdas that we need, and we make all of these nullable or have default values. So if we want some, then we can pass them. If not, we can't, except for the text field that's really necessary, and the hint that's also necessary. For the others, we can just have them or not if we want to. Okay, and that is here we say if is password, we want to show something else. We want to show a different thing, because if we want to show a password, that's going to be a secure text field like this. And if it's not a password, it's just going to be a basic text field too, which is this one. Okay, we can just leave them there, and then let's create functions from them. I'm sorry. or we can put them in different files if we want. Just put them right here in the same file. And they are going to look very, very similar. So once we build one, we'll just copy paste and change a few things for the second one. Now let's try building the normal one, which is just, let's say text field, which is, let's call it text field. So this one is for text only, and the next one is going to be for password. It takes a modifier, but not only a modifier, it will take all of this again. So we just paste this, except for a few things that we need to change. First of all, we need to have this annotation again. What we don't need here is a password, because it's clearly not a password. Keyboard type by default is text, but sometimes it may be email, or for example, number. So it depends. For password, it's always going to be a password. So when we get to password, we still have all of these things and we need them. So let's get started with it. And before continuing, I just want to tell you that my premium course is in a 25% discount for the next 4 days. So if you want to become ready for the Android industry, if you want to build complex compose UI, Ktor backends, and using all the Android industry skills like clean architecture, MVI design pattern, dependency injection, and so on, you can find that course in the description, in which you will build a large scale app with a Ktor backend as well. You can find the link in the description. So that's going to be a basic text field 2. And we won't have a value. Instead, we'll have just a state that is our text field state. Of course, we'll create this state later, or you can have it in your view model. And then let's just adjust it a little bit. We can put a preview, I guess. So just launch the app. Okay, here is the text field. Now we have the state, and let's try continuing. We need now a text style like this, and that is going to be a local text style dot current dot copy, because we want to give it a color. So color of the text that we write right here, that is going to be material theme dot color scheme dot on background. That's the color we want, and that's it for the style. Now then we want to pass keyboard options. That is going to be keyboard options, this one, and the keyboard type is going to be like this, keyboard type. The next thing we need is the line limits. That is going to be text field line limits, not default, but we just want a single line. You can definitely have more than just one line if you want, but in our case, we want a single line. We then want a cursor brush that is going to be a solid color for this cursor that we have in here, as you can see. And it is, let me just bring the keyboard back. It's going to be material theme dot color scheme dot primary for the cursor. And then we want to pass our modifier. After that, we want to create now our decorator. I already have a video that is only specialized in this text field. I will leave the link of that in the description. And now what we need is our decorator. Decorator gives us an inner text field like this, which means all these stuff that we specified in here are in this inner text field, okay? Including the text field state, the color, the cursor brush, and so on. And in this case, we want a column. Why? Because first of all, we have this row in which we have the icon and the text and this other icon. And then below it, we have this line. So all of that needs to be inside a column and then a row like this. And then below this row, we'll have our horizontal divider like this. That will take a modifier dot, just give it an alpha of 0.7f and a spacer right here. So below the text itself, the text field of height of, let's say, 10.dp. Import dp maybe, yes. Now inside this row, we'll have everything. This row first, we'll take a modifier dot fill max width. That's important to fill the max width. And then the vertical alignment is going to be alignment dot center vertically to have the stuff all are aligned vertically, okay? And then we want to show the leading icon. So if leading icon is not null, so if we do have a leading icon, then we want to show it. And it's going to be an icon that takes an image vector right here. And the image vector, of course, is going to be my leading icon. The content description can be null or can be also leading icon, or depends on what you want. The tint of that, so tint is going to be material theme dot color scheme dot on surface variant like this dot copy. So we want to make it a little bit transparent, 0.5f for the leading icon like that. The next thing we want is to give it a modifier dot, we want to make it now clickable. So clickable, that is going to be on leading click, which is the lambda function that we have right here. Great. The next thing is the trailing icon. You just put that the first one here. So trailing icon. If it's not null, it's going to be trailing icon like this and on trailing click. Else if trailing text isn't null. So if we don't have an icon, let's see if we have a trailing text. Actually, this one is going to be else if like this. And this case, it's going to be a text since we want a text, not an icon. So text, and let's just bring this to a new line. The text, of course, is going to be my trailing text, and the color of it is going to be material theme.color scheme.primary. So I'm talking about now this text right here, the trailing text. We can give it a font weight of semi-bold like this, and then we can give it a modifier dot padding from the end of it by 4.dp, so right here, and then we can make it clickable. So it's clickable on trailing click. Actually, I also need to give this padding to the first or the icon or trailing icon as well in the end. So right here. That's it. Now in between them, so in the middle, I will have the text now. And all that text is going to be inside a box like this. That will take a modifier as well, modifier dot. I want to give it a weight of 1f. So I want it to take all the space that is available. That's why we use 1f. The icon will take a space, this other icon will take a space, and then the space that is left will be taken by this box, in which I will have my text field right here. How is it going to be? So I'm going to either show the hint or the text. So if my text field or text field state dot text dot is empty, that means I don't have a text. I'm going to show a hint. Otherwise, I'm going to show my inner text field, which is this one that I get right here. And what is this inner text field? It is exactly what I specified in here with a color, a cursor, a keyboard options, and all the stuff. And my hint is simply a text. So text, and this goes to a new line. That is going to be hint. And then the color of it is going to be material theme dot color scheme dot, let's say, on surface variant dot copy 0.4f. So make it a little bit not quite visible. We then want to give it a modifier. Modifier is going to be modifier dot fill max width, just like that. And that's it. We already have our text field. Close this and call now text field. We actually need to pass all of those arguments. So we can just do this, and hopefully the auto completion will pass them for me, and it exactly did. And here it is. We built the text field. Now what we are going to do is we want to copy all of this like this. We want to paste it. For now, we want to create our password text field like this. For this one, we want to have keyboard type because it's always going to be password. We do have a hint, we do have the trailing and leading icons, and everything else is the same. So we want to come here. We won't use a basic text field too. In fact, now we're going to use a basic secure text field, which is this one, in which we don't have keyboard options, but what we have now is keyboard type. That is going to be keyboard type dot password. We don't have line limits, and what we need here is going to be text obfuscation mode. That is going to be text obfuscation mode dot hidden, which means that we want our password to be hidden. We can also pass a state to that. So if we toggle some state, then we want to make it like this, visible or hidden, depending on some states. I don't want to do that. And actually, that's it. I already have a password. It's going to be the same exact thing. Now we want to go here and call that. So it's going to be my password basic text field, and we'll use the auto completion to pass the stuff that I need here. Like that, we don't have keyboard type. That's it. Our text field is used, is created, and we can reuse it everywhere we want because we have this in our design system. Usually this could be a module in our app, but here I'm just making it a package because I don't have that. We want now to create our screen. That is the login. Actually, before that, let's go back to our design system. We also want to create the options that we can log in with, which are, let's close the keyboard. These, as you can see, they are just the same, just the icon is different. So let's call it, for example, auth option. This is going to be a file and a composable function auth option. Let's also keep a look in that, how it looks like while we are building it. What this is going to be is, first of all, let's pass some stuff to it. It will take an image. So image is going to be an int, which is just the resource ID or the drawable ID. It will take a tint if we need to do that. So tint of type color if we need that, and import color that is going to be nullable if we need that, okay? And a content description if we also need that. So for the images, we will put them in drawable right here. So let me just paste them. And of course, I will leave this project in description. You can find it on GitHub and get all the images. We have the Apple image, the Facebook and the Google images. We have the login image and the register image. These are the images that we need. We want now to create this. That is in the end a box like this that will take a modifier, which is the modifier that we passed right here. We want to give it a border, as you can see. So dot border. Actually, I think I just want to go and show the other screen, which is register. We can see this better in the register screen. I think now you can see it better. Let me just bring this a little bit, and here it is. So this will take a border like this, and the width is going to be 1.dp, import dp. The color is going to be material theme.color scheme.on background.copy 0.2 or 3f, and then we want to give it a shape that is going to be rounded corner shape, let's say 14.dp. We want to clip it now, so clip like this. It's going to be again rounded corner shape 14.dp, because when we click on it, we want the ripple effect to be also rounded like that. That's why we use this clip. We want to make it clickable to see that ripple effect anyway. And then we want to give it some padding so we can push our items to the center horizontally 35.dp and then vertically 12.dp. These are the best values I found. And then we want to do content alignment dot center like this. Oops, import alignment. So how does this work? If tint is not null, so if we do have tint, then we want to show something else. It's going to be something else. If we do have tint, then we need an icon, because with an icon we can pass a tint, but actually not an icon with an image vector, but with a painter, and it's going to be painter resource, and the ID is going to be my image. The content description is going to be my content description, and then the size in a modifier, so modifier dot size, let's say 30.dp. We just copy and paste this for the other one that is going to be now an image, but for the first one we need something very important, which is the actual tint. Now tint is going to be tint. In the second one we don't have a tint, and that's it. We have our item like this. We can now start building the screens by going here to our package. Let's say login screen as the first one. We can just copy that, and let's say it's a file. So right here, a composable login screen. It will be a column, because everything is in a column, as you can see. That will take a modifier, that is the modifier that we passed, and we want to say .fillmax. Well, let's write that in the when we pass it. We will just want to give it some padding, say horizontally, and that is 20.dp. Import dp. Well, let's give it now the fillmax size from here. So fillmax size, and then we want to give it a vertical arrangement dot space around, which means take all the available space. You may say there is too much space in the bottom there because I added a little bit of a box with a spacer there. So we have an equal space between all the items, and we take all the available space with this spacer on. Now we want to put this image and this text, but we might find that there is too much space between them, just like this. We don't want that, so we just want to put them in an inside column that won't take anything, but it will have an image inside it that is going to be now painter resource and r.drawable.login. This could be null, or this could be login, whatever. I want to give it a content scale of content scale dot fill width, or no, not actually fill width, but fill height like this, okay? And then we want to give it a modifier dot fill max width like this, and then fill max height 0.25 f, which means fill 25% of our screen like this in the height. That is what this one stands for. After that, we want to put a little bit of a spacer between them, so spacer height, let's say 16.dp, and then we want to put our text, which is the login text. I will also actually change the font that we use in our app later. Now I'm just using the default font, but we will change this, so that is going to be login, just like this. The font weight is going to be semi-bold, And the font size is going to be 30, actually 30.sp, import sp, and that's it for the first section. I can run the app and see if I actually see something or not. But before that, I need to go to my main activity to call that screen as well. So we can delete this greeting composable. We can come here, and then we do need this modifier. So it's going to be login screen, giving it a modifier. This is how it looks like. You may say that this is off, but it will be better. Just be patient when we add the other stuff. Let's go back to the other screen to see what we need. And the first thing is outside this comment, but inside the parent comment is going to be my text field now. Which I pass so many things. For the text field state, it's just going to be a new text field state. Of course, in your case, you may want to have this in your view model or so. And this is, in my case, an email like this. I want to give it a modifier. Let's say modifier at the bottom here, modifier, a new modifier to fill the max width. Then I want to give it some other stuff like a leading icon that is going to be icons dot, let's say, default dot email. Actually, not default, but outlined. This is the icon I want. And then I want to give it a trillion icon. So just copy this or duplicate that for trillion icon. In this case, it's going to be check like this. And let's see the app. As you can see, here it is. Maybe there's no space between the trillion icon or the leading icon and the text. So I can fix that right here. Let's go here where we have the leading icon. I just want to put a spacer here of width 16.dp. Now we have the space, which is a lot better. And we do have our icons and everything is clickable. We can enter a text. As you can see, it looks just great, but it will actually be better just as you see it right here. So that's the first one. Duplicate this one now for the password one. So the hint is going to be password like this. And we won't have a trillion icon. In fact, now we'll have a trillion text that is going to be forgot. For example, if we forget the password like this, and we'll write is password to true. Let's check that again. As you can see, here is how it looks like. But yeah, I still need that spacer in this other one. So let me just copy it, go down here after the trillion icon, paste that spacer. What we have next is this button, and it's really a normal button. If you have an app, you may also want to put this button in a design system way. If you want to have different types of buttons and you want to just customize them in your case, for example, you want it to be enabled or not, you want to be outlined or not, and so on. So on the on-click, we won't have anything. I just want to give it a modifier dot padding vertically, let's say 8.dp. So inside it like this. We want to have a text inside it. So text is going to be actually login like this. Let's customize it a little bit by giving it a font size of 17.sp and then giving it a modifier. I'm sorry, this one needs to be here. For this one, it's going to be fill max width. Let's check the app. And here's our button. For why we might want to put it in a design system, we might want to have an outlined maybe button. That's what it's called. So if we want to be like this, so it just depends. We pass an argument that tells us, yes, we want to be outlined. If you want to be enabled or not, that's up to you. The next thing we want is this little text down here. So we can just copy this, come below the button, paste that. It's going to be or login with 3 dots. It's going to be quite small at 14.sp. Want to give it a modifier, of course, but we don't have padding. In fact, we have align to align this to the center. So alignment.center horizontally, import alignment like this. Actually, maybe that was the wrong import. Yes, we want to make it a little bit transparent. So dot alpha, I don't know what's going on here. Dot alpha 0.5f. That's it. We have our text and we can check that already. Here it is, login with. The next thing we want is these 3 options. They are going to be inside a row because now we are inside a column. This row will take a modifier that is modifier.fillmax width. That's important. And then we want to give it a horizontal arrangement dot space around, which is the same, take all the available space. And inside that, we will have our auth option that takes an image. For the first one, it's going to be r.drawable.google. Duplicate this 3 times. For the first one, I mean the second one, Facebook, last one, Apple. But now we want to have a tint for it to be black, because if we switch to dark theme, it will switch to white, as you can see. So the tint is going to be tint material theme. So material theme like this, dot color scheme dot on backgrounds. That's the tint. We can check that already. And here you go. The last thing is, let's just go back to the previous app, or to the original app, is this last text that takes us, that's supposed to take us to the register screen. We want to paste this, but all of this needs to be inside a row because we have 2 texts. This first one is this second one. Of course, we can have a text, I don't remember what it was called, but we can have a text that in which we can do all of this, adjusting some parts of it or not. But I find this easier, to be honest. So this modifier will, this row will take a modifier that is align, alignment dot center horizontally. The text is going to be, let's say, don't have an account, and it won't take any actual modifiers. So we can just delete these. The text is going to be a little bit smaller, or let's skip it at 14. We just want to duplicate this for this next one with a little bit of a space right here. So it's now going to be register, but the color right now is going to be material theme dot color scheme dot primary, and we want to give it a modifier like this. We don't have alignment. In fact, we just want to make it clickable. So dot clickable like this. Let's check that. And here it is. We can click on it. As I said, to make this a little bit better, let's go below here and let's put a not actually a horizontal, but a spacer of a height, let's say 1.dp like this. As you can see, it looks a lot better right now, and it's already like great. Maybe I want to make this one a little bit bigger, let's say 15, and also this one, let's say 16 like this. So these are clickable. My text, I can enter some stuff. For this one also I can enter some stuff, and it's hidden. I also just want to go to that one and change the outlines icon to be lock, I guess. Yeah, like this. It's great. Now let's create the register screen. We just want to copy this one, paste it, and let's call it register. Copy the name because we also need that. It's going to be register screen. Let's go to our main activity and call it instead. So register screen. This is the register screen. For the register screen, the icon is going to be register right here. Maybe I need to rerun the app. Here it is. The text is going to be, of course, register like this. And we have an email, a password, but also actually a name. And one thing I forgot. So this one is name, and this one, let's say account, circle. And let's say we don't have a tree icon right here. I forgot the keyboard type is going to be keyboard type.email, since we want an email. And I want to take these keyboard options or auth options to the top for this one. So that's going to be up here. And then I want to take this or login with text from here and put it below the text field. So right here. I think that's better. It just look different. I don't want to say forget password because technically I can't forget the password here. There is one thing I actually noticed in this, which is too much space here. I don't like it. How I can fix that? I don't know if I have any padding there. I don't think I give that any padding. No. There is too much space between the text fields, and maybe if I increase this, let's say, or if I duplicate this, yeah, maybe it's better now. I don't know. Or just not. I think it's fine. I think it's fine. Now I want to go back to my login screen to adjust some things, like here, I want to pass a keyboard type of keyboard type.email, and that's it. I don't have anything else to adjust except the font, as I said. Honestly, the default font of Android apps is really bad, so I'm going to paste this new font that is Poppins, which is actually my favorite font. So Poppins, and we want to go to UI type to use that as our font. That is going to be a font family that takes a font like this, R, import R, dot font dot poppins. Now it's going to be our default font. Let's rerun the app. As you can see, it's a lot more beautiful, to be honest. The font really plays a huge impact on how our UI looks like. Let's go and see the login screen. Here it is. If we click on this, definitely they are clickable, and we can enter stuff like an email here or so on. And we built UI like this. This is the dark theme. This is how it looks like. Great, we just built another complex compose UI. If you want to build more compose UIs like this, then subscribe to my channel to get more videos just like this, and leave a like to this video to support me. Also, if you like my tutorial, then you will like my premium course in which you'll build even more complex UI, even more complex screens, and implementing complex features with clean architecture and more underwood industry skills. All of that in a practical way in which we build a large scale app. You can find its link in the description. So now this is it for this video. See you in the next video. Bye.